Stop.
Hello, everyone, and I'm delighted to be here. My name is Mark Cohen. I have been in the legal industry probably since electricity first came into popular use. The first 30 years of my career, I was an assistant U.S. attorney. I was the youngest partner of what was then the nation's, United States' second largest law firm. I became a managing partner, and then I started my own national boutique firm. I've been outside general counsel to 3 large companies. I've been a federally appointed receiver of an international business. That was the first 30 years of my career, focusing on high stakes trial litigation. Then I switched over to the business of law. I started a company called ClearSpire, a 2-company model of a law firm and a what would today be called a legal tech company. It was more than just a tech company. It was a managed service company. And more recently, I've been writing for the last several years a regular column for Forbes on the legal business, technology industry. I also am the head of Legal Mosaic, and very proudly serve as the executive chairman of the Digital Legal Exchange, where we're committed to aligning the legal function with business to extract greater value. Why am I here today? I'm here today because students are the future. I think that your initiative is fantastic. I hope that it is a whopping success so that it can scale around the globe. And you are the future, not only of the legal industry, but also of, frankly, the rule of law. So anything I can do to lend my help and support and encourage others to do so is why I'm here. So it's a great pleasure.
It's also a pleasure for us, Mark.
That was excellent. Thank you very much.
Really great.
Yeah, absolutely. So the competition prompt is basically for teams of students to create a kind of modern day Hippocratic oath for lawyers. And we're encouraging them to take into account digital transformation within the legal industry, and also how the legal industry is currently perceived by laypersons. Legal innovation is on the rise, and more non-lawyers and startups are now offering legal services. How does an Oath of Justitia fit in
Well,
with this trend?
I think that the oath is a timely and fabulous idea for many reasons. Number one, it encourages social consciousness. Law as a profession should have, in my opinion, and according to the goals of most bar associations, it's not only to serve the clients who engage a particular lawyer or firm or organization, but it is equally an oath to society. And I think in many, many instances, the legal profession has fallen short. Witness, for example, in the United States, where 85% of Americans needing legal services cannot effectively gain access to them, largely because of price. 2/3 of American businesses who have what would be called bet the company matters, existential legal crises, can't afford them. This is true to a greater or lesser extent around the world, and obviously this is something that undermines both the profession and indeed the rule of law. There is no rule of law if most people cannot gain meaningful access to lawyers or legal services. One other thing I'd say about the oath that I think is really laudatory is most lawyers at law schools around the world are trained as if law is a solitary pursuit, that a particular lawyer is going to have a particular matter or a particular task. But in the digital world, lawyers have to be more collaborative, they have to be more agile. They have to be able to work in teams, not to produce legal work product, but to help the client and customer to solve business challenges and personal challenges. So for all those reasons and more, I think that the oath is both timely and commendable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a really great answer. Could you estimate the impact of an Oath of Justitia? What kind of change would you like to see, and what would be your call to action for more senior professionals?
That's a great question. It's hard to estimate the impact without, frankly, knowing, number one, how broadly is this going to be picked up? I would hope that what you are doing in your particular geographical area will be picked up as a kind of call to action in other geographies, because many of the challenges that you are trying to address, as I said in my previous response to the first question, many of these challenges are global. And by the way, in terms of practice, there may be practice differences between jurisdictions, that is, rules of how lawyers conduct themselves, but in terms of the business of delivering legal services, the ability to scale them through technology, through self-help tools, with allied legal professionals, not all quote unquote legal tasks as defined by lawyers need to have licensed attorneys actually do the work. Law has to become much more interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary, both within the profession and in its collaboration with and integration with other disciplines. For example, technology, business management, data analytics. These are all parts of what I would describe as law's untapped latent potential to do more and to do better. In terms of the second part of your question, I think that it is absolutely critical for people who are at more advanced stages of their careers to play an integral part of this. This cannot just be one generation or one group. This has to be the profession taking responsibility, as I said, not only to its paying clients or its pro bono clients, but also to society at large. It is critically important today, particularly with some of the challenges that democracies around the world are confronting. The rule of law is central to the preservation of democracy, and who but lawyers should be the first defenders and the final defenders of democracy. We've got to do more than simply legal work. So in sum, I would say that I hope that the impact of this initiative is going to be significant. I will certainly commit to doing everything I can to helping to spread the word, but it's going to take more than one geography or a group of people intent on spreading this word. It really is going to take much more of a widespread commitment across geographies and around the world. I hope that this is and expect this will be a meaningful first step.
Could a modern Hippocratic oath for lawyers improve lay people's perception of the legal industry?
Well, oaths are like contracts. They're only as significant as the willingness of someone to abide by the commitment. And so I think it's great to have a commitment. It's great to have an oath. But I think what is going to be far more important is for the oath not only to be followed to its letter, but also to its spirit and principle. And how do I mean that? Well, I mean that lawyers and the legal profession and allied legal professionals, not just licensed attorneys, but others in the profession, have to do more than just their job. They have to view it as much more of a calling. They have to view it as a compact. And I believe that when someone becomes a lawyer, she or he makes a compact, really, to abide by practice rules, but equally not only to zealously and competently and within the bounds of law represent clients, but also it's a compact with society to advance the rule of law, to use all tools available to make legal services more accessible, not only to your clients, but also to others in need of those services. And to go back to what I said in an earlier question you asked, you know, there are tremendous resources today. There is technology that the legal profession never had before. There is the ability to use data, meaningful material data that is going to help advance predictability and certainty, and to provide people with more informed decisions, not only the public, but also lawyers, to get to the heart of a matter more quickly, efficiently, and frankly, you know, these are things that other professions, notably medicine, physicians rely on data all the time. They rely on meaningful benchmarks. A lot of lawyers think that data is somehow going to undermine, or technology is going to undermine their independence and professional judgment. That's just not so. It's going to give them a more informed basis upon which to exercise their professional judgment. So I think that there is a tremendous opportunity for lawyers to improve their public image, not by saying, but by doing. And the way to do it is to reimagine from the perspective of the society and the particular client or customer, how their services might be more effectively delivered. It's not just about cost. It's also about providing consumers with a better understanding of the process, a better opportunity to monitor the progress, a better opportunity to interact with lawyers, and to be informed with self-help tools. These are all things that are available, and I think as part of the oath, all people taking the oath should commit to being open to tapping into these resources. That's what law's customers, businesses, are doing. That's the essence of the digital age. It's not just about technology, but it's about customers and using technology and other tools that have come available for the benefit of customers and society. That should be part of the oath, in my opinion.
Great, thank you very much again. Okay, so the next question, we're halfway through, 3 more questions, is why is this competition an important initiative for students who are the future of the legal industry?
This is important, I think, for a lot of reasons. Number one, students have to learn to collaborate. Number two, I think too often students are bogged down in the minutia of law school. You know, law schools, I think it is their obligation to teach students to, quote unquote, think like a lawyer, close quote. But what is it to think like a lawyer? Today, thinking like a lawyer is the fundamentals of legal practice have not changed very much since I was a baby lawyer many, many years ago. However, as I said before, what has changed tremendously is what the public expectations are of lawyers, the need for lawyers to make their services more widely available and accessible, and for lawyers to be able to tap into these tools that I was talking about, technology, data, social science, other disciplines, that are going to be able to deliver more meaningfully, more transparently, more effectively, more collaboratively, much needed counsel to clients and the broader society. So all of these things, I think, are going to be critically important fundamentals for students that they perhaps may not receive at law school. Law school, in my opinion, should be a part of training, but it should by no means be, you know, all of the training. The Romans had a wonderful expression that translated says, experience is the best teacher. These are the kinds of collaborative experiences that I think are great teachers. And finally, students have to realize that this is not about one student against the other. You know, in law school, there's so much competition for grades and jobs, and that's understandable. However, you know, I think there is an even larger mission to be served here, which is we are all professionals. We are all committing to defend the rule of law. It's not going to be achieved if it's just an me versus you kind of mindset that law school tends, unfortunately, to promote. It has to be much more of a collaborative mindset that says, if I join with you and we join with another group who are like-minded and have similar objectives, in this case, you know, to advance the interests of society by constructing a more socially responsible and capable legal professional, that's how the scale, that's how the impact that you were questioning me about is going to be achieved. It's not going to be one brilliant person or a small group of people. It's going to be the profession recognizing that we're in this together and we have the potential to improve, and much improvement is needed.
Do you have any tips for our competing teams?
Well, I would say, number one, make sure that everybody on the team is encouraged to give her or his input. Number two, recognize that this is a competition. I suspect that one team will be recognized as, you know, winning an award or getting a certain note, but I would commend every single team, because at the end of the day, this is not really so much about awards as it is about the advancement of ideas, about collaborating with people for a larger cause. So I would say to the teams, I commend everyone on the team and every team for participating. Everybody likes to win, but there are going to be no losers here.
The legal profession is changing, and so are client expectations. Could the self-commitment which is signalled by an oath of justitia become a sign of fairness towards clients?
Well, I think that certainly the oath is something that certainly can't do any harm. But I come back to an earlier response to one of your questions related to the oath, which is that, you know, I think that the action speaks much more than the aspiration. So I see the oath as a commitment, but at the end of the day, I think that the way that the legal profession and the legal industry is going to regain the confidence that has been, I think, lost over time, because there's a perception that lawyers are very expensive, lawyers are only for the rich, lawyers will, you know, defend the people with money regardless of whether or not, you know, they think that they're in the right or they're not in the right. I think that at the end of the day, if, for example, a corporate lawyer and a corporate legal function, as several are doing now, take tangible steps to demonstrate to society that they are not just about making profit, but that they are concerned about things like the environment, they are concerned about things like diversity, they are concerned about social justice. I think that the oath is a good first step, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be, you know, the actual actions taken as a manifestation of that oath that are really going to sway public opinion and to elevate public confidence and trust in lawyers. Because the legal relationship, as you know, is built on trust. It's built on confidence. It's built on problem solving. People don't go to lawyers unless they have a problem. And it is absolutely important for lawyers not only to be able to solve that problem, but also, I think, equally to be able to work with the broader client society to help to address certain societal problems. And this is the way that the legal profession and the legal industry can restore public trust and confidence, all of which I think will go to making the rule of law more widely respected, and people will feel that I have a vested interest in the rule of law, and I understand that the legal profession is taking the lead in that. Therefore, I respect them.
That was great. That's all the questions we have.
One question for you. What was the impetus that caused you to do this?
So the project started, I think, before either Evgeny or I were involved in the Liquid Legal Institute. But I think these two issues of kind of digitalization in the legal industry and also this kind of perception problem that the industry increasingly has, they kept coming up in meetings, and then somebody had the idea of actually gathering the thoughts and the opinions of younger people, as they're the ones who are going to be impacted by this kind of throughout their careers. So I think that's how it started, and it's of course spiraled into this big competition. We're really happy with how it's going so far in terms of the registrations, because we've had registrations from 7 different countries, which fabulous. Is what we wanted.
Really fabulous. Well, anything I can do to help both now and going forward, let me know, okay?
Thank you very, very much.
Oh, and you should check out some of my articles. Because they talk at length about a lot of these topics. So you might want to consider, just following me on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Yeah, we will absolutely.
Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.